Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimandasya Jnananjana Shilakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 16. How Parikshit received the age of Kali. Text 1. Srila Sutta Goswami said, O learned Brahmanas, Maharaj Parikshit then began to rule over the world as a great devotee of the Lord under the instructions of the best of the twice-born Brahmanas. He ruled by those great qualities which were foretold by the expert astrologers at the time of his birth. Srila Prabhupada's purport. At the time of Maharaj Parikshit's birth, the great astrologer Brahmanas foretold some of his qualities. Maharaj Parikshit developed all those qualities being the great devotee of the Lord. The real qualification is to become a devotee of the Lord, and gradually all good qualities worthy of possession develop. Maharaj Parikshit was a Mahabhagavata or a first-class devotee who was not well versed in the science of devotion but also able to convert others to become devotees by his transcendental instructions. Maharaj Parikshit was therefore a devotee of the first order, and thus he used to consult great sages and learned Brahmanas who could advise him by the Shastras how to execute the state administration. Such great kings were more responsible than modern elected executive heads because they obliged the great authorities by following their instructions left in Vedic literatures. There was no need for impractical fools to enact daily as a new legislative will and to conveniently alter it again and again to serve some purpose. The rules and regulations were already set forth by the great sages like Manu, Yajnavalkya, Parashar and other liberated sages, and the enactments were all suitable for all ages in all places. Therefore, the rules and regulations were standard without flaw or defect. Kings like Maharaj Parikshit had their council of advisors, and all members of the councils were either great sages or Brahmanas of the first order. They did not accept any salary, nor they had any necessity for such salaries. The state would get the best advice without expenditure. They were themselves samadarshi, equal to everyone, both man and animal. They would not advise the king to give protection to man and instruct him to kill the poor animals. Such council members are not fools or representatives to compose a fool's paradise. They were all self-realized souls and knew perfectly well how all living beings in the state would be happy both in this life and in next. They were not concerned with the hedonistic philosophy to eat, drink and be merry and enjoy. They were philosophers in the real sense, and they knew well what is the mission of human life. Under all obligations, the advisory council of the king would give correct directions, and the king of the executive head, being himself a qualified devotee of the Lord, would scrutinizingly follow them for the welfare of the state. The state in the days of Maharaj Yudhishthir, Maharaj Parikshit was welfare state in the real sense of the term, because no one was unhappy in that state, be he man or animal. Maharaj Parikshit was an ideal king of a welfare state of the world. Text 2. King Parikshit married the daughter of King Uttara and begot 4 sons headed by Maharaj Janmejaya. Prabhupada's purport. Maharaj Uttara was the son of Virata, the maternal uncle of Maharaj Parikshit. Iravati, being the daughter of Maharaj Uttara, was the cousin sister of Maharaj Parikshit. But cousin brothers and sister were allowed to get married if they did not belong to the same Gotra or family. In the Vedic system of marriage, the importance of the Gotra or family was stressed. Arjuna was also married Subhadra, although she was his maternal cousin sister. Janmejaya, one of the Rajarshi kings and the famous son of Maharaj Parikshit, his name was Iravati, or according to the some Madravati. Maharaj Janmejaya begot two sons of the names Janatanika and Sankukarna. He celebrated several sacrifices in Kurukshetra pilgrimage site, and he had three younger brothers named Shrutrasen, Ugrasen and Bhimsen. Two. He invited Takshila, Ajanta, and he decided to avenge the unlawful curse upon the great father Maharaj Parikshit. He performed great sacrifice called Sarpmayagya to kill the race of serpents including Takshak, which had bitten the father of death. On the request from many influential demigods and sages, he had to change the decision to kill the race of the snake, but despite stopping the sacrifice, he satisfied everyone concerned in the sacrifice by rewarding them properly. In the ceremony, Muni Vyasadeva also was present, and he personally narrated the history of battle of Kurukshetra before the king. Later on, by the order of Vyasadeva, his disciple Vaishampayana narrated before the king the subject matter of Mahabharata. He was much affected by his great father's untimely death and was very anxious to see him again. And he expressed his desire to before the great Sri Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva also fulfilled his desire. His father was present before him, and he worshipped both his father and Vyasadeva with great respect and pomp. Being fully satisfied, he most munificently gave charity to the Brahmanas present at the sacrifice. Text C. Maharaj Parikshit, after having selected Kripacharya for guidance as a spiritual master, performed 3 horse sacrifices on the banks of Ganges. These were executed with sufficient rewards for the attendants, and at the sacrifices even the common man could see demigods. It appears from this verse that interplanetary travel by the denizens of the higher planet is easy. In many statements in Bhavatam, we have observed that demigods from heaven used to visit the earth to attend sacrifices performed by influential kings and emperors. Herein also we find that during the time of horse sacrifice performed by influential kings and emperors, Herein also we find that during the time of horse sacrifice ceremony of Maharaj Parikshit, the demigods from other planets are visible even to common men due to the sacrificial ceremony. Demigods are not generally visible to common men, as the Lord is not visible, but as the Lord, his causeless mercy, descends to be visible to the common. Similarly, demigods also become visible to common men by their own grace. Although celestial beings are not visible to naked eyes of the inhabitants of the earth, it is due to the influence of Maharaj Parikshit that demigods also agreed to be visible. The kings used to spend lavishly during such sacrifices, and as cloud distributes rain, a cloud is nothing but another form of water, or in other words, the water of the earth transforms into cloud. Similarly, charity made by the kings in such sacrifice was but another form of taxes collected from the citizens. But as the rain falls down very lavishly and appears to be more than necessary, the charity made by such kings also seems to be more than what the citizens need. Satisfied citizens will never organize agitation against the king, and thus there was no need in changing the monarchical state. Even for the king like Maharaj Parikshit, there was need of a spiritual master for guidance. Without such guidance, one cannot make progress in spiritual life. The spiritual master must be bona fide, and even who wants to have self-realization must approach and take shelter of bona fide spiritual master to achieve real success. Text 4. Once when Maharaj Parikshit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali Yuga, who was lower than a Shudra, disguised as king and hurting the legs of cow and bull. The king at once caught hold of him and deal sufficient punishment. Shilpa Prabhupada. The purpose of the kings going out to conquer the world is not for aggrandizement. Let's see, what does this mean? Krishna, 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 Rakshama. The act of enlarging, expanding something, power, or status. Maharaj Parikshit went out to conquer the world after his ascendance to the throne, but this was not the purpose of aggression or other sage. He was the emperor of the world, and all small states were already under his regime. His purpose is going out was to see how things were going on in terms of godly state. The king, being the representative of the Lord, has to execute the will of the Lord duly. There is no king of self-aggrandizement. Thus, as soon as Maharaj Parikshit saw that a lower class man in the dress of the king was hurting the legs of a cow and a bull, at once he arrested and punished him. The king cannot tolerate insults to the most important animal, the cow. Nor can he tolerate disrespect to the most important man, the Brahmana. Human civilization means to advance the cause of Brahmanical culture and to maintain it. Cow protection is essential. There is a miracle in milk, for it contains all necessary vitamins to sustain human psychological conditions for higher achievements. Brahmanical culture can advance only when man is educated to develop the qualities of goodness, and for this there is a prime necessity of food prepared with milk, fruits and grains. Maharaj Parikshit was astonished to see that black Shudra dressed like a ruler was mistreating a cow, the most important animal in the human society. The age of Kali means misengagement and quarrel, and the root cause of all misengagement and quarrel is that worthless men with the modes of lower class men who have no higher ambition in life come to the helm of the state management. Such men at the post of a king are sure to hurt first the cow and the Brahmanical culture, thereby pushing all society towards hell. Maharaj Parikshit, trained as he was, got the scent of the root cause of the quarrel in the world. Thus he wanted to stop in the very beginning. Text 5. Srila Shaunaka Rishi inquired, why did Maharaj Parikshit simply punish him, since he was the lowest of the Shudras, having dressed as a king and having struck a cow on the leg? Please describe all the incidents if they relate to the topics of Lord Shri Krishna. Srila Shaunaka and Rishis were astonished to hear about the pious Maharaj Parikshit simply punished the culprit and did not kill him. They suggest that pious king like Maharaj Parikshit should have at once killed an offender who wanted to cheat the rishis, cheat the public by dressing like a king, and at the same time daring to insult the purest of the animals, a cow. The rishis in those days, however, could not even imagine that in the advanced days of the age of Kali, the lowest of the Shudras will be elected as administrators and will open organized slaughterhouses for killing cows. Anyway, although hearing about a Shudraka who was about to cheat and insult the cow was not very interesting to the great rishis. Okay. They nevertheless wanted to hear about it to see if the event had any connection with Lord Shri Krishna. Wow. They were simply interested in the topics of Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna, for anything that is dovetailed with the narration of Krishna is worth hearing. There were many topics in Bhavatam about sociology, politics, economics, current affairs, but all of them are in relation with Krishna, and therefore all of them are worth hearing. Nice. Krishna is purifying ingredient in all matters, regardless of what they are. In the mundane world, everything is impure due to its being product of the three mundane qualities. The purifying agent, however, is Krishna. Text 6. The devotees of the Lord are accustomed to licking up honey available from the lotus feet of the Lord. What is the use of topics which simply waste one's valuable life? Second, I want to see the shloka. Yadi Krishna Katha Shrayam. Jadi Krishna Katha Shrayam. Related to topics Katha Ashrayam. Katha Ashrayam. Yadi Krishna Katha Ashrayam. Okay. The devotees of the Lord are accustomed to licking up honey available from the lotus feet of the Lord. What is the use of topics which simply waste one's valuable life? Lord Krishna and his Srila Prabhupada's purport. Lord Krishna and his devotees are both on the transcendental plane. Therefore, the topics of Lord Krishna and of the pure devotees are equally good. Okay, great. The battle of Kurukshetra is full of politics and diplomacy, but because the topics of are related to Lord Shri Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita is therefore adored all over the world. There is no need to eradicate politics, economics, etc., which are mundane to the mundaneness. To pure devotee who is actually related with the Lord, such mundane things are transcendental if dovetailed with the Lord or with his pure devotees. We have heard and talked about the activities of Pandavas, and we now are dealing with the topics of Maharaj Parikshit. But because all these topics are related with Lord Shri Krishna, they are all transcendental, and pure devotees have great interest in hearing them. We have already discussed this matter in connection with the prayers of Bhishma Dev. Our duration of life is not very long, and there is no certainty all of when we shall be ordered to leave everything for the next stage. Thus, it is our duty to see that not a moment of our life should be is wasted in topics which are not related to Lord Shri Krishna. Any topic, however pleasant, is not worth hearing if it is devoid of its relation to Krishna. Wow. Hearing. The spiritual planet Goloka Vrindavan, the eternal abode of Lord Shri Krishna is shaped like the whorl of a lotus flower. Even when the Lord descends to any one of the mundane planets, he does so by manifesting his own abode as it is. Thus his feet remain always on the same big whorl of the lotus flower. His feet are also as beautiful as the lotus flower. Therefore, it is said that Lord Krishna has lotus feet. Okay. A living being is eternal by constitution. He is, so to speak, in the whirlpool of birth and death due to his contact with material energy. Freed from such material energy, a living being is liberated and is eligible to return home back to Godhead. Those who want to live forever without changing their material body should not waste valuable time with topics other than those relating to Lord Shri Krishna and his devotees. Text 7. O Suta Goswami, there are those amongst men who desire his freedom from death and eternal life. They escape the slaughtering process by calling the control of death. O Suta Goswami, there are those amongst the men who desire freedom from death and get eternal life. They escape the slaughtering process by calling the controller of death Yamraj. Shri Prabhupada's purport: the living entity, as he develops from lower animal life to higher human life and gradually to higher intelligence, become anxious to get free from the clutches of death. Modern scientists try to avoid death by psychochemical advancement of knowledge, but alas, the control of death Yamaraj is so cruel that he does not spare even that very life of the scientist himself. The scientist who puts forward the theory of stopping death by advancement of scientific knowledge becomes himself a victim of death when he is called by Yamaraj. What to speak of stopping death? No one can enhance the short periods of life even by a fraction of moment. The only hope of suspending the cruel slaughtering process of Yamraj is to call him to hear and chant the holy name of the Lord. Yamraj is a great devotee of the Lord and he likes to be invited to kirtanas. Okay, Yamraj is a great devotee of the Lord and he likes to be invited to kirtanas and sacrifices by pure devotees who are constantly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. Thus, the great sages headed by Shaunaka and others invited Yamraj to attend the sacrificial performed at Naimisharanya. This was good for those who did not want to die. Text 8. As long as Samraj, who cause of everyone death present here, no one shall meet with death. The great sages have invited the controller of death, Yamaraj, who is representative of the Lord. Living beings who are under his grip should take advantage by hearing deathless nectar, deathless nectar, in the form of narration of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. I like this word, deathless nectar. Amazing. What a word, Srila Prabhupada. What does it translate to, deathless nectar? As long as present in of life, artham na kaschindriyate tvam yadvadasta ihantike. Not anyone will die so long present here in Anthakam cause in life. Artham Bhagavan to Param Rishi, the great sage, alas Niloki, in human prayer let them drink transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Amritam, nectar of life. Narrations. Here Amritam he describes as deathless nectar in the form of the narration of the transcendental pastime of the Lord. Amazing. Srila Prabhupada is so amazing. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Every human being dislikes meeting death, but he does not know how to get rid of death. The surest remedy for avoiding death is to accustom oneself to hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord as they are systematically narrated in the text of Srimad Bhavatam. It is advised herein, therefore, that any human being who desires freedom from death should take to the course of life as recommended by Rishi headed by Shaunaka. Text 9. Lazy human beings with paltry intelligence and short duration of life pass the night sleeping and the day performing activities that are for naught. Shivapas. The less intelligent do not know the real value of human form of life. The human form is special gift of material nature, and in the course of their enforcement stringent laws of miseries upon the living being, it is a chance to achieve the highest boon of life, namely to get out of the entanglement of the repeated birth and death. The intelligent take care of the important gift by strenuously endeavoring to get out of the entanglement, but the less intelligent are lazy and unable to evaluate the gift of human body to achieve liberation from the material bondage. They became more interested in so-called economic development and work very hard throughout life simply for the sense enjoyment of the temporary body. Sense enjoyment is also allowed to the lower animals by the law of nature, and thus a human being is also destined to certain amount of sense enjoyment according to his past or present life. But one should definitely try to understand that sense enjoyment is not the ultimate goal of life. Herein it is said that during the daytime one works for nothing, because the aim is nothing but sense enjoyment. We can particularly observe how human being is engaged for nothing in the great cities and industrial towns. There are so many things manufactured by human energy, but they are all meant for sense enjoyment, for not getting out of material bondage, and after working hard during daytime, a tired man sleeps or engages in sex habits at night. That is the program of materialistic civilized life for the less intelligent. Therefore, they are distinguished herein as lazy, unfortunate and short-lived. Text 10. How big is it? Okay, let's read it fast. Srila Shukdev Goswami said, when Maharaj Parikshit was residing in the capital of the Kuru Empire, the symptoms of the age of Kali began to infiltrate within the jurisdiction of the state. When he learned about this, he did not think the matter was very palatable. This did, however, give him the chance to fight. He took up his bow and arrows and prepared himself for military activity. Srila Prabhupada's purport: the state administration of Maharaj Parikshit was so perfect that he was sitting in his capital peacefully, but he got the news of symptom of age of Kali had already infiltrated the jurisdiction of the state, and he did not like the news. What are the symptoms of the age of Kali? Illicit connection with women, indulgence in meat eating, intoxication, taking pleasure in gambling. The age of Kali literally means the age of quarrel, and the above mentioned 4 symptoms in human society are the root cause of all kinds of quarrel. Maharaj Parikshit heard that some of the people of the state were already taken to those symptoms, and he wanted to take immediate steps against such causes of unrest. This means that at least up to the regime of Maharaj Parikshit, such symptoms of public life were practically unknown, and as soon as they were slightly detected, he wanted to root them out. The news was not palatable for him, but in a way it was, but because Maharaj Parikshit got a chance to fight. There was no need to fight with small states because everyone was peacefully under his subordination, but the Kali Yuga miscreants gave his fighting spirit a chance for exhibition. A perfect Kshatriya king is always jubilant as soon as he gets a chance to fight, just as a sportsman is eager when there is a chance for a sporting match. It is no argument that in the age of Kali such symptoms are predestined. If so, then why was there preparation for fighting out such symptoms? Such arguments are offered by lazy and unfortunate men. In this rainy season, rain is predestined, and yet people take precautions to protect themselves. Similarly, in the age of Kali, the symptoms as mentioned above are sure to infiltrate into social life, but it is a duty of the state to save citizen from the association of agents of age of Kali. Maharaj Parikshit wanted to punish the miscreants indulging in the symptoms of Kali and thus save the innocent citizens who are pure in habit by culture of religion. It is a duty of the king to give protection, and Maharaj Parikshit was perfectly right when he prepared himself to fight. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Shri Gurudev. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. We'll read from text. Oh, my screen share was not working. We read from text number 11 tomorrow. Hare Krishna.